I just lost the internet connection, sorry.
Okay, I'll record.
There you go.
Okay, this is the security frame component we introduced to London. Andreas will provide more detail, but this one we define, we want to use ONAP, use an open source security pattern. So we apply the Istio Ingress Gateway, and also we put the OST proxy to connection to IDAM. We realize IDAM with the KeyCloak. We are using KeyCloak as a reference implementation for authentication, authorization, single sign-on, multi-tenancy user management, including RBAC control. We are doing it. And also we are using Istio and the Istio D30 manager. We're gonna apply the implement service mesh pattern and for communication between the application. So security, some of the security concern is out of the application. For example, they don't have to worry about certificate, user management, and authentication authorization themselves, are all handled by this sidecar proxy, controlled by the Istio D and then certain manager. So using this mechanism, the application, they don't have to worry about the security, just communication security they cannot worry about is sitting behind. So we are introducing this security framework officially in London, and then Andreas will give you more detail. And we have provide some hook for operator. They can extend to use their own IDAM and then IDP, connecting that to ONAP reference implementation. So it's a flexible things. And 1 second. This is logging framework. This is a new logging framework component. Originally, we designed this logging framework architecture for London timeframe. But as I mentioned, we have some security issue. During POC, we find a security issue. So the basic concept of the logging is, as I explained before previously, logging generation, separation from logging collection, aggregation, persistent visualization. This framework has this for the component. So basically, on an application, they issue the logging through the standard out standard error. Then you will store in the logging file. And then front bit as a logging, the collector, they pick up the log file and they put additional container metadata, container name, ID, those things, they append it. And then they send to centralized Elasticsearch and using the Kibana, for example, and they visualize the contents for service provider. So, but this aggregator and then Elasticsearch and visualization can be changed by the vendor or operator. That's the beauty. But problem is this front bit, this logging location is protected area in the container. So to use that one, to see this log file, the front bit need to have a root access. That's the issue. So we don't want in ONAP, we don't allow the root access. That's why NSA recommended, Justin recommended, and with the Maggie, and so based on recommendation, we're defining a separate privileged namespace. This namespace so restricted and only can deploy the front bit and then also only access this log file read-only. So that's why we restrict this using the policy, application policy. We have a separate namespace domain, and then we restrict so much then no one can tamper. So this one, we don't have to worry about the root access issue any longer. So this is what they are resolving this issue, Ericsson team and NSA. Once it's done, this can be candidate for next week. Okay, so and new initiative that we are in architecture subcommittee under Shaka. We are discussing new one. One is this is the based on Magnus leading ONAP mainstream architecture, and we are supporting his vision and his team. So we, from architecture subcommittee, we providing this study. So we are preparing for this. So basically in highlight modularity, normalization of the interface, extensible and customizable substitutional component function. We learned many of the vendor and operator, they pick and choose on a component, but or they want to substitute the function as their own. There's some problem with the orchestration pattern because the tightly control and tightly coupling. So we are investigating more choreography pattern so that can provide better. I can give you more information. And also we see value common as platform service such as logging and security is out of now the application. We want to keep that minimally. and also we try to make it the application services autonomous, but we like to balance it. So that's what we can choose, pick and choose aggregation capability. And also we like to achieve the uniform and platform level security logging. So other vendor, they want to communicate interface with ONAP with a uniform way of the security and logging. And this is what we are thinking about it. And so for that, we are discussing, we are brainstorming in architecture subcommittee. We are doing some kind of a southbound interaction. And so choreography again, not just the orchestration. ONAP used to do, they have a modeling and they use a RESTful interface. They just providing command based the request toward the Kubernetes. We want to change that. We want to incorporate more declarative definition. For example, China Mobile Hawaii team, they talk about intent. Then we try to some kind of mapping between the internal model to CRD. CRD is kind of the custom resource definition is declarative. Based on CRD, we create the declarative API. So using the CD mechanism, they instead of calling ONAP to Kubernetes directly, they pushing the CRD into the CD reconciliation, CD repository, and leveraging CD reconciliation, they are going through the Kubernetes API. And then here I'm just giving example, nephew controller example, and they can keep the taking event for them, or we can provide custom controller. So we try to make it some loosely coupling and the CD, applying CD mechanism. So how to make it more ONAP component more independent, autonomous, and then also more applying the CD mechanism. This is one brainstorm, and the ARCHCOM, we are talking about this. And also, and tomorrow you're gonna see a lot of nephew information. And I don't want to talk more detail about nephew, but here we talk about the China Mobile and Kaegang, and then also Dongwang, and then shuttling shipments for intent based, and then we have a more collaboration between UUI and ARCHCOM and other the community. We're going to talk more about the choreography and the intent-based communication. And this one, same thing, not just southbound. We are thinking about the ONAP component interaction consideration. So here, not only orchestration pattern we are familiar with, orchestrator talking to service directly. We try to add a choreograph pattern, and we introducing event broker and intent instant repo, which Kaegang and talk about before. And each services, they pick up their type based on event type. They handle and push it back to the event broker. And then next one, they pick up their job and then process it. Like this is kind of a continuously the managing the event for the operation. So this is I just summarized cons and pros, and this is what I'm thinking about. Tight coupling, high dependency, high cost substitution. If a vendor wants to put their own services and for the orchestration pattern, you have to change a lot in the orchestration, or we are using common BPMN, but that's still our cost is high. And then this one, we try to leverage the Kubernetes-based the architecture, and we try to leverage that things. This is what we want to talk, and now I want to give back to Shaka for his navigation. Shaka, I'm gonna stop sharing.
All right, thank you.
I have a small question.
Yes, go ahead.
I feel the intent-based solution that is put in place is still heavily using UUI, but as far as I remember, UUI was not part of ONAP anymore. Is it still valid, or it is still progressing on the side as a project alone?
I didn't hear last one, I didn't understand. You said UUI, they are working on the intent, try to communicate with the nephew, right? But they
yes.
Definitely say intent, yes. But they define, yeah, go ahead.
UUI is still part of ONAP, or is an unmaintained project?
UUI is still part of the ONAP, yes.
Okay,
that's why we are talking about the ONAP and the ONAP and then Kubernetes integration, because you can think about this one of the UUI. They talk about the CRD, which is talking about intent, and how you're
Yes.
gonna link to a nephew. So this is what the closed loop, each section they are closed loop, and then so they were working on it. So yes, that's why ARCHCOM, ARCHITECTURE.com, and then UI team, and then even possibly some orchestration like ASD. Once we discuss about how you're gonna connecting that to nephew, but I haven't discussed that here. But for the intent case, UUI case, they already talk about that to community. So that's why we plan to work together. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Yes, I was not sure about it, but okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask any question before moving back to Chakra's Navigator. Any questions? Okay, then not
Thank
to,
you.
so, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I'll
thank
stop
you,
share.
Bian.
Yeah, yeah.
Can somebody give me sharing rights, please?
Okay.
Yeah, the entry that says sharing.
Yeah, you're host now.
You're the host.
It says
Shakar, you're the host.
Yeah.
I am. Okay, so let me do that. I'm having a good day already. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. And I am the host.
You have one of your two. You need to give your other login permission.
Okay. And I can't even do that either.
Chaka, if you want, I can share your navigator, and you can tell me how to.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm not sure.
Cumbersome. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be cumbersome.
You think you can drop one of your login to Zoom because you got Chakra looking for sharing? And
yes, that's the one that I wanted. It says
Yeah,
host disabled participant screen sharing.
yeah, but right now you're using host.
Whatever machine that you logged in originally, that's the one where you have host permissions.
I know. It's just I can't give myself a permission either.
Okay.
Hey, Bian, can you launch the screen? I'll walk you through it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you launch it? Yeah.
Let me.
Okay, I've enabled general screen sharing for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect.
Can you try that? Okay.
Yes. Here we go. Much better now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So here we go. So thank you, Bian. I'll just make it brief, just to make sure that we don't go over the allotted time. What I want to show you over here is all the changes that we made for the London release. If you look at the screen, it's self-explanatory, but I'll walk over it. I'll walk through it in a second. Portal NG is something that was added for the London release. If you click on Portal NG, it will ultimately, it will take you, I'll show you on the other screen, it will take you to the wiki page. But let's say, for example, if we go, we'll pick on policy. Policy has some changes. And if you want to know what the changes are for policy, you just go down to the document referenced. And ultimately, you will find the page for it. But let's go to the controller. In the controller. But in any case, we, all these changes, excuse me, everything that is in green is basically a component that has changed. There is a JIRA ticket associated with it, and then you have the documentations that were presented at the architecture review. So that gives you an idea of all the changes that we made, all the reviews that we've gone through, as well as what has changed, what was removed, what was added in terms of the components. So Portal NG has been added, security framework has been added, as well as logging. The question that was asked before, I think, by Marshall, is about UUI. UUI is still here, but there are a couple of other components like AAF and a few others that were removed from the London release. So this is a quick overview. I want to go back and show you, there was some questions about the major use cases for the London release. So if you go to the use cases in here, it gives you a better idea as to what was changed or what was proposed for the London release. SON was reviewed, and there are some changes that are being made for SON. And again, there is a JIRA ticket associated with it, and you click on it, and it should take you there. The intent-based networking is the question that was asked before. And again, all the relevant documentations are in here. You click on the PowerPoint presentation, you should be able to get all the information that you're looking for. So for the London release, we've reviewed 4 use cases, and they're all highlighted over here. The screen also gets updated on a regular basis per release. So it should be up to date by the time the release is ready to go out. Going back to the main architecture review or the architecture diagram, this is the diagram that Bian showed before. It is available on the web, on the wiki. Anybody has access to it. It's all PNG file. We maintain the master file, and we update it based on all the changes that we propose or are proposed for the specific release. Just an FYI, at the bottom, it tells you when it was last time it was updated. This is 2023, not 2022, and then it tells you the London R12 release. Again, you have 3 components that are newly added. Excuse me. And on here, if you click on Portal NG, just because it's work in progress, I'll take you to the wiki page of the Portal NG, and anything that you want to know about it, it should be here. I still have 2 minutes, 1 minute, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what we've shown over here. So if you click on, or if you hover over this, it should tell you all the information, all the milestones for the specific release, right? This is where we are. We update the dates based on the project management schedule, and then we kind of keep track of what was changed and what was not changed. If you hover over this, it gives you all the, has a link to all the subcommittee, most of the subcommittees, not all of them, but I'll pick on ARS, the architecture subcommittee. You should be able to go there, and from the title, you should tell whether the the main topic of the architecture subcommittee agenda. So this is basically gives you a flavor of what it looks like. There is one over here about pull down menu about the LFN and the LF activities. We added Nephew over here just because there is enough interest in Nephew. So you click on it, it'll take you to the Nephew page, and so we have POCs and so on and so forth. We have the release planning, so we'll keep track of the release planning as well. And again, this is work in progress. This is a draft. As we go through the London release, we update it accordingly. But we believe that this is pretty much the architecture, the ONAP architecture for the upcoming release, with all the changes as well as the new components that we are adding to the release. I know that I went through it quickly, but I encourage you to look at the portal, click on any of the boxes, and anywhere you click over here, this is all clickable. So wherever you click, you basically get to the respective documentations of that component. We did it this way, so hopefully it is easier and intuitive for people to go in, take a look at the ONAP, at the documentations, as well as all the activities and the reviews that we have gone through. And with that, I'm 1 minute over. Any questions?
Yes. So you said that you are tracking the release planning of Nephew, right?
Say that again, please.
So you are tracking the release planning of Nephew.
Yeah,
No.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
In a way, we provided a link to the Nephew wiki, so everybody has access to it, right? So, but
Okay.
we're not
Okay, I
we're
was
not
thinking that.
tracking Nephew. Yeah, we just providing you a launching pad, a way to find out what's going on with the Nephew releases.
Marsha, I also participate in Nephew, the architecture, and also the second automation. And I'm going to feed up-to-date information to Shako and this page. We know we are tracking the Nephew. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Beyond.
Yeah. Okay. I think time's up.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I stop.
All right,
recording.
thank you, everybody.